This happened to me a few years ago when I was 22. I live in a mid-sized city, not too quiet, not too wild. One Friday night, some friends and I decided to check out a new nightclub that had opened a few weeks earlier. It wasn't the kind of place I'd normally go to, a bit flashy, full of people trying too hard, but we figured we'd give it a shot. We got there around 11 p.m. It was packed, music was blaring, and the place had this low red lighting. I went to the bar to grab a drink while my friends hit the dance floor. That's when I first noticed the guy. He was just standing there, leaning against the bar a few feet away. Red baseball cap, black hoodie, hands in his pockets, not drinking, not talking to anyone, just watching. At first I thought maybe he was security. He had that stiff posture, but he wasn't wearing any kind of earpiece or badge, just standing still, watching people dance, watching me. I looked away, but something about him gave me a weird feeling in my gut. Not panic, just discomfort. I moved to the other end of the bar and met up with my friends again. We danced for a bit, had another drink, and for a while, I forgot about him. But about an hour later, I noticed he was still there, still standing alone, still watching. And now, he wasn't just watching the crowd, he was watching me. He didn't break eye contact. I pointed him out to my friend Rachel, who laughed and said, "Creepy, but probably just shy." I nodded, tried to laugh it off too, but I made a mental note to stay near my group the rest of the night. Around 1:45 a.m., the DJ announced last call. My friends started collecting their stuff, ready to call an Uber. I told them I was going to hit the bathroom before we left and to wait near the front. I weaved through the crowd, and as I got near the hallway where the restrooms were, I glanced back at the bar. He was gone. The hallway to the bathrooms was darker, quieter. The music was muffled. The men's and women's restrooms were at opposite ends, and as I pushed into the women's room, I suddenly had that gut feeling again, the hair on your neck kind of feeling. I quickly did what I had to do, washed my hands, and stepped back out. The hallway was empty, but the moment I turned the corner, he was there. Red cap, black hoodie, standing in the hallway, partially in shadow. He didn't say anything, just stared. I froze for a second, then walked quickly past him. My heart was pounding, but I didn't want to show fear. I was just a few feet from the main area of the club when I heard him start walking behind me. I sped up, so did he. I turned the corner into the main floor and almost ran into the bouncer. I immediately turned and pointed. He was following me, I said. That guy. But when I looked back, the man was gone. Not in the hallway, not in the crowd. It was like he vanished. The bouncer didn't seem all that concerned, but he asked if I wanted to be escorted out. I said yes. We went to the front where my friends were waiting, and I told them what happened. Rachel's face went pale. She said, "I saw that guy leave like 20 minutes ago. I watched him walk out the side door. He wasn't even in the club when you went to the bathroom." That didn't make sense. Unless he hadn't left the club. Unless he had been waiting for me back there. We got in the Uber, and the whole ride home I kept thinking about how close he was, how quiet he was, how deliberate. Like he'd picked me out the moment I walked in and waited for the right moment. I filed a police report the next day. They checked the club's cameras. The guy was real. He'd been standing near the bar for over 2 hours, barely moving, never bought a drink, never spoke to anyone. He followed me down the hallway, but then there was a blind spot in the camera footage. They never caught him. Sometimes when I go out, I still look over my shoulder. Every crowded room, every bar, every hallway, I check for a red cap, because I don't know what he wanted, but I know he waited a long time for the right moment. And that night, I think I almost gave it to him. This happened back in 2019, when I was living in Chicago and working late hours. I was 25, and most weekends I'd blow off steam with friends by going to bars or clubs. There was one spot we liked on the south side, nothing fancy, just cheap drinks and loud music. One Saturday, we hit it like usual. Got there around 10:30, crowded but not insane. I had a few drinks, danced a bit, and everything was going normal. Around midnight, I realized I'd left my phone charger in my car. Dumb, I know, but I'd been running on 3% and didn't want to get stuck with a dead phone. So I told my buddy I'd be right back and slipped out. There were two exits, the front door, which had a long line, and a side exit near the bathrooms. It was marked emergency only, but I'd seen employees using it before. That night, it was propped open a few inches with a brick. No alarm. I figured whatever, I'd be fast. I slipped out the side door into the alley. That's when things got weird. The alley was narrow, damp, and dead quiet. No music, no chatter, no lights except one flickering bulb. I was parked a block over, so I started walking fast. About halfway through the alley, I heard footsteps behind me, soft at first, then faster. I glanced back. Some guy in a dark jacket, hood up, maybe 30s, maybe older, was walking toward me. Not running, just walking fast, too fast for comfort. I stepped to the side and pretended to check my pockets, hoping he'd pass me. He didn't. He slowed down too, then stopped. We were about 20 feet apart. I looked up and said, "You good?" He didn't answer. Instead, he pulled something from his pocket. Not a phone, not keys. It was small, metal, and had a sharp glint under the alley light. That's when I bolted. I don't even remember making the decision. My body just moved. I sprinted out of the alley and cut across the street, nearly getting hit by a car. I didn't even look back until I reached my car and locked the door. He was standing at the mouth of the alley, just watching. Not chasing, not yelling, just watching. I waited, heart racing, hand shaking on the steering wheel. After a full minute, he finally turned and walked back into the darkness. I didn't go back inside the club. I didn't even text my friends until I got home. I drove home in silence, thinking about what could have happened if I'd hesitated even a few seconds longer. Here's the part that chills me the most. The next morning, I called the club and asked about that side door. The manager told me it's always locked from the outside, always. They don't prop it open. There's no reason for it to be. So either someone broke it open, or that guy knew someone would come through it eventually. And he was waiting. Now, anytime I see a quiet door in a loud place, I remember that night, that alley, that face. And the simple rule I learned the hard way: if an exit is too easy, there might be a reason. This story isn't about something that happened to me exactly, at least not directly. It's about someone I knew, someone I used to work with. Her name was Erin. I met Erin in 2018 when we were both bartending at a club downtown. She was 26, smart, sharp-witted, and she didn't take crap from anyone. She could throw out a drunk guy twice her size with just a stare and a few firm words. Everyone loved her. The regulars, the bouncers, even the club owner. We were never super close, but we worked together 3, sometimes 4 nights a week. We shared rides, swapped stories, sometimes grabbed late-night food when our shifts lined up. That club, let's call it Temple, had a reputation. It wasn't the most dangerous place in the city, but things happened there. Fights, drug deals, sketchy people loitering outside. It stayed open late, like really late, and the later it got, the weirder the crowd became. Erin could handle herself, though. She always said the same thing: just keep your eyes open and don't be stupid. But one night, something went wrong. It was a Saturday. I wasn't working, but Erin picked up an extra shift to cover for someone. The place was slammed. According to the manager, it was one of the busiest nights they'd had in months. 3 birthdays, a bachelor party, packed from wall to wall. Around 2:15 a.m., she clocked out and told the other bartender she was heading out. The club closes at 3, so it wasn't weird. She said she was going to grab an Uber, maybe get a bite on the way home. She never made it home. At first, nobody panicked. We all figured maybe she crashed at a friend's or her phone died. It wasn't until the next afternoon that people started getting nervous. Her roommate said her bed was untouched. Her phone had stopped pinging just before 3 a.m., somewhere near an industrial lot 2 blocks from the club. I remember getting the call from our manager asking if I'd heard from her. I hadn't. Nobody had. Police got involved fast. The security cameras outside Temple caught her leaving out the back door, the employee exit. She was alone. She turned right toward the rideshare pickup spot, and then she was gone. She never got in an Uber. Her app had one open, but it was canceled minutes later. A few days later, a man came forward. He'd been walking home from a bar across the street and said he saw a woman matching Erin's description talking to someone in a silver sedan. He thought it was her Uber. Said she looked hesitant before getting in. That car was never identified. For weeks, police searched the area, flyers went up everywhere, candlelight vigils, a GoFundMe. The whole thing felt like a nightmare that kept stretching on. Then, nothing. Months passed, no body, no vehicle, no suspects, no evidence. Just gone. But here's where the story turns from sad to deeply disturbing. 6 months later, the club installed new security systems, including motion detection cameras in the back lot where employees parked. One night, around 4 a.m., the owner was reviewing footage remotely because someone had triggered the alarm. In the video, you can see a man walking through the lot, slow, hood up. He circles the building once, then stops at the back door, the same door Aaron used that night. He tries the handle. It's locked. He looks directly at the camera and smiles, then walks away. Police pulled the footage but couldn't ID him. His face was partially obscured. But one of the officers said something that still sticks with me. This guy wasn't breaking in, he was checking, which means he'd been there before. A few of us, the staff, started connecting dots. Erin always left through the back. She said it was faster, safer. But what if someone had been watching her routine? Noticed what time she usually left, where she waited for rides? That club had no security outside, no lighting, no cameras back then. Just a dark, blind spot in a city full of predators. Eventually, they scaled back the search. People moved on. The club closed the next year for unrelated reasons. But I never stopped thinking about Erin, about how easily someone like her, smart, careful, experienced, could just vanish. How something as simple as trusting the wrong car, the wrong smile, the wrong timing, could end a life. I still work nights sometimes. I still take ride shares, but I never wait alone. Never stand in the dark with my phone out, and I never use the back door. Because Erin's not just a missing person to me. She's a reminder that the real horror doesn't always have a face. Sometimes it's just a car with its headlights off, and someone patient enough to wait.